Good evening. People's got Defiance ETFs, an update on SPY-T, USOI, and QQT. These are two of the fixed incomes, and then the USO index, which is like oil. So they pay a dividend on USOI, and then they have two targeted, hence the T. These are targeted around a 20% annualized yield from Defiance. And then I have, of course, Defiance Weeklies, the QQQY, the WDTE, and the IWMY, equivalent to Roundhill's NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, and Russell 2000. So since I didn't do a separate one over the Thanksgiving holiday on this guy, I'll just cover it quickly. Then I'll show you what the payments were for these three, and then I'll give you the update since 10/9 when Defiance has been doing these weekly. And show you how that's trending. And then soon I'm going to do my just pure Roundhill versus Defiance weekly, right? Ever since these guys have been weekly, I just wanted it to build up so I got at least 2 months worth of data so you can see which one is really paying and holding NAV better. Okay, so let's just cover these real quick. So the SPY-T, obviously the SPY is the S&P 500. So they had a payment. I don't have the date in front of me, but let me pull it up here on my second monitor for you. And that was 11/29. Okay, these are payable on 12/4. So these will be um, paid. So they declared on 11/29. Let me just get this updated for you. Okay, so the best I can tell, that's how these work, right? So if you own these, you'll be paid tomorrow. And if you're watching this and you're seeing what the new weeklies are that aren't in the targeted income, at least you'll know what's going on here. So I'm updating these for you. Okay. So these are the correct payments. The 33.56, it was up a little bit, 87.04. So let's go in. So these were launched from March 7 to May 10th to 6/21. So how have they held up? Well, let's make sure our distribution AG15. Okay, I don't have November, but I will. Let's put these in here. 0.3356. Okay. 0.8704 and 0.3428. So I need to roll these in. So that's through AD. 15, 16, and 17. Okay. Oh, Q through AG. Why do I go through AG? AG is not really relevant. Huh. think I've duplicated something. I'll have to take a closer look at these guys. But in general, and there could be some anomaly. Since these are supposed to target 20, the NAV's been holding up pretty well, right? The price started at 1985, or sorry, started at 2005, and it's now at 1998. This one is the big NAV loser. Otherwise, it yields a lot, but look at the loss because oil hasn't been doing that well the last couple of months. So you've got a 73.76% yield. It's classic. I know Jay is doing these. It's classic yield max NAV erosion, right? Which Jay's later, I guess, come out in an interview and said, no, these are return of capital. Well, why even talk about investment if it's simply a return of capital? That's not an investment. So that's kind of perplexing in itself. Um, so you have a 10% on this guy. This is right at what they were targeting. But I need to go through. I don't want to waste your time while I'm trying to give you the newest weekly Defiance one on whether I have these lined up in the right column and so forth. I just thought I would show you what they were paid. This is what you'll be paid tomorrow on these various ones. If you own USOY, you get 87 cents. If you own QQQT, you get 34.28. And on this guy, you get 33.56 on the SPY T. All right, let's get into the new one. So 0.231 is what Defiance is paying for QQQY, the NASDAQ 100. 0.2310, right, by default. On the WTE, JEPI, S&P 500, however you know it, 0.2016. So let's get our yield here. So you have a 35% yield here, a 25% yield, and a 40. And the Russell 2000 is paying 0.257, the highest payer, right? So how do these, and you'll be paid on this Friday, right? So declaration is Wednesday the 4th. You must buy before 12/5. The X date is 12/5 and the pay date is 12/6. Okay, guys. So this at the top then, why do you have these listed again? Because this summarizes. This is just what was paid, what's the yield based on the current price. Well, here's the current price, and then here's all of the distributions. Now, in this one, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm right through AL. So everything is cool with this one, including all the current payments. This one's a little easier. So when did it launch? Well, obviously it launched a while ago, back in March. But that had to do was when it was a monthly payer and there were splits and all that. So in order to show it to you a little bit better and just be very succinct, and this, base will grow, we're looking at it weekly, and that'll make for a good comparison of Roundhill. So it launched weekly on 10/9. These were the launch prices. This is the current price. So as you can see, everything has gone down some more than others, right? So we're 6% on the Russell down in the NAV price since October 9. We're 2% in the S&P 500, as you'd expect, and 3% on the NASDAQ 100. These are our total collected monies, and the NASDAQ 100 is not much above the S&P 500. Normally, its big claim to fame is its distribution, right, is a higher yield. Okay. So where it is higher typically is that this is a cheaper item to buy. If you buy this stock, the NASDAQ 100, you only pay 33, 34 at the time, but you had to pay 42 for the S&P 500. So let's go across our table and compare these. So here is our total return. So we go launch date, Has it gained or lost on the NAV? How much total distribution? What is that yield? And then when you annualize that yield, these are the numbers you get. And when you annualize the loss, this is what you get. So that Russell, which has turned south, is now have a 40% annualized loss when in reality it's how many days is that? 72 days or something. I have it. Yeah, 56 days. Okay. Each one of, well, actually, they all launched on the same date, so they're all operating um, with the 56 days. So you can see what a 6% loss in 56 days when you take it 365 is 40. But believe it or not, they're all still paying positive. Well, which one is the best? So the NASDAQ 100 is actually the best because its NAV loss is 23, but its distribution yield is 42. Right? Really 43. It's so close. This guy by far has the highest distribution yield, but it has an ugly 40% annualized NAV loss. So as that sample size gets bigger, you get a better idea. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. This is Defiance's update. And sorry about, I don't want to waste your time here going through and double checking and going to the website. I'll just make sure it's right when I come back out on the next one. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. This is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Fun and entertainment only. Have a great one. Bye for now.